Okay, thank you for everyone for their precious contribution. This session has been devoted to create a new chapter, if it is possible or not, or the way do we have to follow to create a new things. We have very well educated friends from Iran, Georgia, Azerbaijan, and the countries around the Caucasian region, Caspian Sea. We were wondering your opinion about the constitution, that sort of chapter. For example, do we have to start with their own national chapters, or do we have to start with the Caucasian or Caspian region chapter, like a Scandinavian chapter, for example? Or what do you expect from the European African HBB society? Or is there any other way to go together to be a good partner or to help ourselves better? Is there any other opinion, ideas, or options? And if you say something about that, my dear President and my colleagues and the President of Membership Committee, and also Mustafa Adam from France is going to declare their opinions, of course, but your opinion are also very important, and I would like to open discussion in this point. The President.
Thank you. Thank you, Ahmed. I think I would like once again to thank Ahmed for this effort to bring so many important people from countries outside Turkey. And it's a good opportunity because there is a coincidence that the four speakers, the three outside Turkey and Ahmed, were members of the Council of the HBBA. And as I said in my opening talk, our main effort is to have all the European countries with a chapter in the next 4 years. So we are in the right way because, as I said, there is many countries now that they have their own chapters. And Turkey could play, the Turkish chapter of the HBB could play a major role because not only because it's probably the bigger chapter in Europe, but it's very active. I saw in a minute 2 at least courses within Turkey. So we should exploit the situation because Turkey has a very nice relationship, scientific relationships between this nation and the other nations around the Caspian Sea. So we're thinking with Ahmed when he was thinking to organize this meeting to bring the people and discuss the possibility to have a chapter in the Caspian region, and we are right because as we learn from the presentations from people from these countries, there is a lot of potentials there, and there are a lot of work that have been done in the HPB surgery and transplantation. So there is a fertile environment in order to have this chapter. So we are here to listen to your opinion, and we're talking about the area. It's not necessary because of the number. I mean, somebody can say that there's the number of HPB surgeons, for example, in Azerbaijan. It's not enough to have a chapter. There is no limitation, I mean, to have a chapter. It's independently with the number of surgeons. But if the guys there thinks that there is not enough surgeons, then we go for a so-called a regional chapter. We have such chapters in Scandinavia. We are going next month to the Western Balkans to have from the countries from the former Yugoslavia, Croatia, Slovenia, and Serbia. I mean, they create their own chapter there, and there is a common chapter, so it's not necessary to have a chapter with just one country. So there is a possibility. So we would like to hear from you and how you are thinking to proceed with this. as there's a number of the educational training possibilities, being a member of the family of the HPB Association around the globe, and within, especially within the European and Africa region. So it's good for your own target to increase the number of people dealing with HPB surgery, and to increase the level of the quality of the people already dealing with HPB surgery. So the society, the association is here to help you and to working with you to improve the HPB services around the European and Africa region. So please take the floor and to make comments or ask questions how we can do that and in which way we should be helpful to you. Please.
I want to know if we want to do research or one project about research, for example, about eras. What your detailed helps that you can help us, or for example, we want to start laparoscopic hepatobiliary surgery. What's your what's your facility that you can help us?
Can we reply on this? You probably know that we have a dedicated committees in the HPB dealing both with the research and with education and training. So we have already some running courses, for example, you're asking about the laparoscopic surgery, and we can do it both ways. We can give the opportunity to the members to come and to follow the courses organized within Europe, or to help you organize meetings and courses in your own country. So this is a way that we're working. And in research, if you have somebody have ideas, or you need collaborators from other countries within our region, then the research committee can help you in a way that you think that they will be helpful to you. So this is the way that we're working. But I don't know if somebody would like to add something, but this we can do it both ways. You have an idea, and then we come and help you to make this idea possible, or come and join the other courses within our region organized by the ESPP itself. So this can happen both in research and training and education. The research committee can help you to find collaborators, or to create protocols, or whatever you like. So depending on what you need, and then we are coming and help you to do this. Yes, please.
Thank you so much. I'm Dr. Ali Akbari. I'm from Mashhad, Iran. This is a very good idea, and we are planning to establish the HPB Association and chapter in Iran, inshallah, in the near future. And this is a very good opportunity to be a member of European African Association, because it would increase our knowledge and relation with European countries and associations. I have a question, and I want to know the experience, Turkish experience of HPB chapter.
Thank you. I was just waiting for end of your speech because I was thinking about to give the Turkish example. We were old society, but we have integrated with the European Assembly about 20 years ago or 25 years ago, but we were a little bit shy and then closed society. And then we decided to contact Europe better. And about 10 years ago, we have invited more people to our National Congress. First, we have constituted our National Assembly. And then we have invited more people to our congresses from Europe. And when they get into our congresses, they have been impressed our enthusiasm or performance doing something, especially in HPV surgery or liver transplantation or something. For example, we all have been impressed a lot for your performance in Iran in terms of liver transplantation or cadaveric transplantation, for example. And last year in Mainz, in European Congress, the Halkerlang has invited us as a Turkish chapter session. And we gave 3 talks about the liver transplantation over there. And I think it was much more effective than our publications. For example, we couldn't have done this, and we could persist on to publish our papers in the HPV journals, for example, and we do not prefer to join with them, and we would prefer to stay in our limits. But they couldn't discover us. We are not a star. We are just ordinary people here. And so we have to express ourselves, and the best way to express ourselves is to make a communication. So if, for example, you create a national chapter or Caucasian or Caspian, whatever, its name is not important, a new chapter, you can take place in European congresses or just at the meetings as it has been mentioned before by our president, or you can design or create courses, hands-on practices, and the manpower, as a manpower, Europe can help you, or just you can do these things in a third-party country like Turkey, for example, because we have some experience, we have some contact with the European friends, and then we have a very good relationship with our Iranian, Azerbaijani friends, and so it is the way of collaboration. I think the Turkish HPV Society is a very good example. And there's one more thing, the membership committee president is here. We have more than 600, maybe 700, am I right, Mustafa? We have more than 700 members in Turkish society, more than 700, but there are only 8 active members in European HPV Society. So it means we are still a little bit shy, or we are still wouldn't go beyond our limits, because we still think that we are just a little bit a second-class man, or just do we have to wait a little bit more, maybe, or no, we are just equal with them, and they are treating us just one of them. So it means we have to express ourselves. The best way to express ourselves is to create our chapter. That's why I think it this way. Am I wrong? Yeah. Do I have to say something? Or would you like to say something about that?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, is there a microphone?
You know, I think Amit's made a really valid point. There's clearly great examples of HPV surgery occurring throughout this region. And it's been the nature of EHPVA, as it has grown and evolved and expanded, it's moved its conference, its annual or its biannual meeting around, and often is picking areas where there are new things happening. Going back a few years, the first meeting out of Europe was in South Africa, and actually we learned a huge amount when the meeting went to South Africa, and we saw and experienced a lot of the talks and presentations. In 2021 we're going to Spain. Spain's one of the newest countries to set up a national chapter, and again that will be an opportunity to showcase a lot of what they're doing in Spain. So I think the national chapters, when people work together, there's opportunities open up, and whether it's a session at one of the meetings, whether it's just some invited talks or contributing to the meeting, or even somewhere down the line hosting what would be a big international conference to come to that type of region, would be a really good way of showcasing a lot of clearly what's happening, very good practice. So I think it's just expanding out into areas, and Turkey is a huge example of where there's a great national chapter now starting to engage more and more with the HPBA, which is fantastic.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you very much. The other thing that I would like to share with you is this meeting is an example of the collaboration between our society, our association, and the industry. Sometimes it's very difficult for small countries or even bigger countries to have a contact with industry and to be sponsored by them in order to organize things. So, as I said in my presentation earlier, there is a policy towards this issue from the EEHPBA to have a strategic alliance with the industry in order to get some funding and support all the educational, training and research activities. So the only way to have access to this is to create a chapter and to join the association. And we're looking as association towards the new chapters in the countries that there are, let's say, the newcomers, in order to help them to organize all this stuff. And because it's not only the senior surgeons from this country, but for the young surgeons around the globe and in the periphery of the European region, it's very difficult to come to the congresses, the meetings, and all the education activities. So I think that is our strategy to help them, to help the young generation of the members of the EHPBA to have access to education and training. So this is one other issue that I would like to stress on, and this is one more argument why you should have a chapter or you should have your own association and come to European Africa Association to work together on equal terms. I would like Ahmed is right, because there is no privileges from two other big countries like Germany or UK or France or whatever. So in this society, everybody is equal, all the chapters are equal, and independent of the willing to join and work together. This is the only criteria to have the access on all these activities. What about the Azerbaijan? How are you thinking?
Ben az önce de daha çok geniş konuşmak istemiyorum. Ahmet abiyle biz...
Just wait a minute.
Bir dakika,
Wait a
kulaklığını
minute.
taksın. Bir dakika.
Ben az önce de Ahmet abiyle de konuştuk, FOE'de de konuştuk, ondan önce de konuşmuştuk. Biz de Azerbaycan'da yani böyle bir chapter'ın oluşması için elimizden gelen işler yapmaya çalışıyoruz. Hatta biz bir ara bir kongre planlamıştık Azerbaycan'da. Tüm teşkilat işlerini hepsini de yapmıştık ama belirli sebeplerden dolayı alınmadı. Düşünüyoruz ileride böyle bir toplantılarının birinin Bakü'de yapılması için bir şeyler yapmamız lazım. Aynı zamanda şimdi akşam yemeğinde de birkaç görüşmemiz olabilir. İnanıyorum ki en yakın zamanda Azerbaycan chapter'ı yani faaliyet gösterecek de düşünüyorum. Biz de istiyoruz çünkü yaptığımız işler var. Hepatobiler cerrahiye ait olan neredeyse bizim çalıştığımız merkezde her bir şey yapılmaktadır. Ama bunu Azerbaycan çapında daha geniş bir alana yaymak istiyoruz. İnşallah alınacak diye düşünüyorum yani. Görüşeceğiz ve benim ilk düşüncem şu, böyle bir toplantının birini Bakü'de organize etmek. Yani gelecek sene için böyle bir şeyi yapmayı planlıyoruz inşallah.
May I say something? I think the relation with the industry is very important at that point. Because industry would like to sell their products and we would like to use them to give our patients a bit better treatment. They cannot sell them to the Walmart and we cannot buy them from Walmart, so we have to collaborate, it means. But the more you work, the more they help us. Or the more you work, the more help you. So if you increase your number of patients, major operations, transplantations, whatever, as we have seen today, the nutritional companies or medical instrument companies all of them are going to help us to create a better communications, a good quality meetings, or good quality studies, or collaborative studies. Maybe we can start with the multicentral studies with Turkey, Iran, Azerbaijan as a just rehearsal to see if we can do something together or not. And it may be the good starting point. Or just you can organize a meeting in Baku. It's maybe in some special topic. And I have chosen the nutritional eras. And you can choose, for example, benign biliary strictures, or the other can choose the pancreatic tumors or liver metastatic tumors, whatever. Maybe something in Iran, Tehran, or maybe you can altogether do it in Turkey, Greece, or wherever you would like, in Europe, whatever. And it may be the good starting point, I guess. Is there any special rules and conditions to create a new chapter in our society? I mean, any regulations? Just
No, it's... No, it's not any special rules. Depending, I mean, the legal situation differs in every country, but it doesn't. We don't care about that. The only thing is that you should be an official chapter of the association, which is a kind of agreement between the chapter and the HPBA. It's not. We don't have any special arrangements in each country. We don't need it. It's up to you. I mean, it's
yeah. Help with the website. We can offer help with.
Okay. That's good. It's good, Mark. I mean, if you need something to give you some samples from bylaws or for this is what you mean, Rowan? Rowan.
Yeah.
You mean technical support from the bylaws or internal rules or whatever?
No. It's just an agreement is the way all the other national chapters. But the purpose of what EHPBA can offer a national chapter is if you want to establish a website for communications within your country or connection of countries. I think that's something EHPBA and the administrative office would be very keen to support. So the new chapters that have started, one of the first things they've asked for help with has usually been help with a website to help communication, to promote local meetings, and just to help that flow of information. So that's something EHPBA can offer to a national chapter or a regional chapter. But in terms of actually the legal constitution, there's no legal documentation or anything like that. It's really a partnership. Absolutely.
That's right. Any other comments or?
I was wondering the nutrition companies' comments on it. I mean, what do they expect from this society, or what did they thought what did they think about that when I first say, okay, let's make a meeting? Did it work for you, or is it a good choice, or do we have to do something by our own and then invite you, or what? Did you find what you expect in this meeting, for example? Let's make it a little bit more clear. Would you like to support us more in...
So this means that do you have any money in your pocket? We can take it now.
For example, the European Society would like to join the nutritional companies in much more detailed fashion, for example.
Öncelikle tabii ki yeni terapetik alanlar alanlara girmek firma olarak bizim de önceliğimiz. Çünkü beslenme hakikaten bütün hastalıklarda çok önemli. Zaten de sunumlarda da siz de onun altını devamlı olarak çizdiniz. Tabii ki beklentimiz ilk başta da söylediğim gibi yeni terapötik alanlara girmek. Çünkü bizim işimiz firma olarak tamamen beslenme ürünleri üretiyoruz, medikal beslenme ürünleri. Bu ürünlerimizde birçok hastaya ulaşmasını bekliyoruz sizlerin aracılığıyla. Tabii ki sorumlu olduğumuz ülkelerde de ki bunlar Azerbaycan, işte Gürcistan, İran, bizim Türkiye'ye bağlı olan ülkeler ve burada da faaliyet gösteriyoruz. Nasıl ki işte yoğun bakım, nöroloji, onkoloji, uzmanlık, pediatri gibi uzmanlık alanlarına gidiyorsak, tabii ki cerrahinin de bu daha derinlemesine bütün alt dallarına da yeni terapötik alanlara da girmek istiyoruz. Bizim ana beklentimiz bu. Bunu da tamamen bilimsel yollarla yapmak istiyoruz. Bir de benim ilave olarak tabii ki derneğe bir sorum olacak. Sorum şu, tabii ki Avrupa-Afrika Pedofiler Derneği'nin bu yeni chapter'lar açılması için daha önceden bu ülkelerle, Azerbaycan, Gürcistan ve İran için bir planı var mı? Bir takip planı var mı? Onu da esasında öğrenmek istiyorum. Belki konuşmaya da böyle biraz daha genişletmiş oluruz.
Yeah, I think it's our willing to have a chapter everywhere in our region, so including, of course, these countries. And as we said, we will be very helpful to them in any ways, depending on what we need. The other thing is that we are thinking to, as you see in my presentation, that we have a plan to have a strategic alliance with the industry in order to make possible to organize all this and to make possible to help the different countries. Of course, you as a regional representative, Nutricia, I suspect, and you are responsible for these countries, you are interested in these countries because it's your area. But we would be very pleased if you act as a messenger to your headquarters and have some discussions as we had with Medtronic or with Johnson & Johnson in the, to have a more broad agreement including this area. So the answer to the question is yes, we would like to support these countries to have their own chapters and to create their own meetings and whatever they like. So it's up to them and to do this, and I would like to ask these countries to stay in contact with Ahmed and myself to ask what you need to help them in order to do this in the, let's say, in the next year. So I'm very pleased to hear that the people from Azerbaijan would like to do it, and I encourage them to speak with take the lead within the area and to ask from other countries around to join, because the numbers are not big countries to have, but if you like to have your own chapter, it's okay. But if you like to have a regional chapter, that's even probably better for you and for others to help. I think we have a representative here from Georgia. Yeah, Iran, it's a big country. Then Iran, belongs to, for example, Iran belongs to, geographically speaking, belongs to Asia. But it's up to them if they would like to join a regional chapter, or they would like to join Europe instead of Asia. Then we can discuss with our friends in the Asia region to see what the possibilities are. But geographically, if they would like to stand alone, they belong to Asia. But as the Middle East join us and not the Asia, so there is some opportunity to discuss depending on how you're feeling better. Because we are a family. IHPPA, it's the umbrella organization, and we are a big family, so it doesn't matter where you are belonging geographically, but it's a matter how the association, each regional association could be helpful to you. So please stay in touch. I don't know if there is any other comment on the discussion, but please stay in touch to and ask for us to help with the people, with the, as Ron said, with the electronic infrastructure and environment, with anything you like. And then you can, by being a member, the other thing is that by being a member of the association, then we can yourself, the individuals and the charter, be part of the committees, for example, because we're talking about the research. So it's don't as an equal partner, then you can participate in the committees, because committees are representative from of all the countries, of all the chapters. Then you yourself stay within these committees and discuss all the possibilities. So it's not, if you become a member, if you have a chapter, become a member of the family, then you are not an outsider. I mean, you will decide with us what you think and what you would like to do. So I hope that I'm clear. Yeah, please.
Ben öncelikle buna bir yanıt vermek istiyorum ki öncelikle çalışacağımız iş Azerbaycan'da yani bölgesel değil, Azerbaycan'ın kendi chapter'ı olsun. Benim ilk önce düşüncem bu yönde. Bu yönde şimdi Bakü'ye döndüğümde yani görüşmeler yapacağım. Bölgesel değil, daha çok Azerbaycan chapter'ın olmasını istiyoruz. İkinci bir sorum olacak yani Nutrise şirketine. 1 yıl veya 1,5 yıl öncesine kadar Nutrise Azerbaycan'da aktifti diye biliyorum. Yani çünkü benim de çok tanıdıklarımın, hatta akrabalarımın çalıştığı firmalarla sürekli Nutrise'den biz yani ürünlerinin Azerbaycan'da olduğunu biliyorduk ama son 1 yıldır yanılmıyorumsa yani Azerbaycan'da Nutrise'nin yani faaliyetinde mi bir düşüklük oldu, yoksa anlaşmalar mı bozuldu, ne durumda, bunu bilmek istiyorum yani. Eğer tabii ki burada anlatılacak bir şeyse.
Hocam bilahare ben bunu akşam
Yanılmıyorum, Veyseloğlu ile çalışıyordunuz galiba da, öyle biliyorum bu firmayla.
Ticari şeyler isterseniz ben size yemekte detaylıca anlatırım.
Yani eğer olursa ben o konuda da yani şöyle bir şey sunabilirim. Çünkü benim tanıdık hem akrabalarım olsun, tanıdık olsun, dostlar olsun, çalıştığı büyük firmalar var. Yani bir anlaşmaya varabilirseniz, tabii ki benim işim değil, o konuda da sizi görüşmeleriniz için bir yardımcı olmaya çalışırım yani. Sonuç itibariyle bu tür organizasyonu yapan bir şirketle herkes emektaşlık yapmak istiyor yani.
Tabii
o
ki
cümleden de
diğer doktorlarımızın, hocalarımızın çok zamanını almayalım. Ben yemekte size çok detaylı bir şekilde bunların anlatırım.
So, as a result, we have
Okay, I don't want to be misunderstood. Yes, the answer is yes. If you like to have your own chapter, I mean, there's no problem. I mean, it's up to you what you like. I'm not the guy, or we're not as an association to tell you what you like to do. If you like to have your own chapter, it's okay for us. It's no problem. Okay, am I clear now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, please.
Sorry, which level of persons can decide to make a new chapter, and for example, embassy or NGOs or one center in one country, who can decide to create new chapter?
I mean, there is no a general way to do that, and a unique way to do that. Usually, there is some people that take the initiative, okay, and discuss with them, and create a chapter. We don't need any embassy or whatever, and then as a national gathering of HPV surgeons, then we came to us and say, okay, we create this chapter, and then we would like to become a member of the association. It's simple. It's a partnership, as Raoul says. So it's not necessary you don't need any NGO or the embassy or whatever. So you you should discuss with your colleagues within your country, with different institutions. It's better to have a better representation geographically within your country, and then you say, okay, we're these people, and then you're starting. And then as you organize things, and so you recruit members from your country, and then these members can join the IHPBA, the regional association, and this is the way. It's simple.
Trend of simple person or surgeon in one country is enough for?
Yeah, I mean, if you can take personally the initiative, then you can speak to your colleagues, and then if you create an association, it's simple. I mean, you don't need any interference from anybody.
We have done it by ourselves, for example, in Turkey. In 1994, the 5 professors from 3 different cities gathered in Istanbul and decided to create our own chapter, and they have constituted our organization.
And if some person don't want to start this collaboration or
it is volunteer thing. It's not obligation.
Yeah,
There's not any obligation.
Thank you.
Robert.
Yeah, just a point to say that you can become a member as an individual of the IHPBA, EHPBA. You don't need to be a national chapter.
Good point.
To be a member. But if you're wanting to coordinate and run courses or increase the network and influence that you have as an HPB group of surgeons in your environment, in your country, there's a lot of advantages of forming a chapter. I think the Turkish group has probably been around as long as almost any of the national chapters. In the UK, although it's a big group now, it only started and was constituted about 4 or 5 years ago as the Great Britain and Ireland HPB Association, and it has a biannual meeting. But that's all relatively recent, and it was just a few enthusiasts started it. But prior to that, there was a lot of people involved in the EHPBA and IHPBA. So you can still be a member of EHPBA and IHPBA without being part of a national chapter. But the national chapter would be there to coordinate activities within your country, and as a chapter start getting engaged with the EHPBA, get involved in the subcommittees, run courses that are then open to membership from all over Europe and Africa, and they will come. Host the exam. We run a European exam, and we try to move that around the different countries. So it might be you want to host the EHPBA exam, host a course, or maybe sometime in the future down the line host the biannual meeting.
Thank you, Robert. That's a very good point. So individually, you can do anything you like. Please.
Thank you for your information. I'm Dr. Tusi. I'm a hepatologist and participation in the Tehran Liver Transplantation and Hepatopancreatobiliary Research Center. And we did so far the 4th biannual Congress for Liver Transplantation and Hepatopancreatobiliary Congress or meeting in Tehran. And we are more representative our center in Tehran, but other colleagues that are here are also working with us in this meeting also. And for the next year, we would have the 5th Congress, and we can work together very well, and we can help each other for servicing better the patients. And I think it is a good opportunity for us to have your cooperation for these meetings. And also we are going, as my friend Dr. Ali Akbarian said, that we are going to have a national society for hepatopancreatobiliary and liver transplantation surgery association. And after that, we can have a chapter for Iran in the European association, because European is the most active part of this society in the world, and we can help each other in the future, hopefully.
Okay. Thank you. Good. Very good. So, as I said, you can stay in touch with all of you. well, at your disposal any time to help and to ask whatever you like to help you to do this. So thank you very much for coming, and I would like once again thanks Professor Choker for helping, for organizing this meeting. Of course, Patricia, thank you very much, and I hope that you continue to help us and finance all these educational activities. And I personally be very grateful if you bring us with contact with your headquarters in order to discuss the possibilities, what we can do as a European chapter with your European headquarters. So thank you very much. Please.
Thank you for coming, everyone, spending your time in Izmir. And thank you, my friends from Europe. They came from a long way. Maybe it's the first time in Izmir, but yeah, I'm just talking about the foreigners. You are just one of us. So thank you for coming, and I think it's going to be much more fruitful if we have our own chapters and societies and make a good collaboration in the near future. Thank you very much.